What makes you El Oso?
Getting chain CC'd. Baron doing a lot of damage onto Paper Crusade. Baking Yumi gets a 4-man knockup. Chunky Monkey goes down though. Azir is able to pick up a kill onto the Olaf. Paper Crusade now responding. Oh, nice ultimate. Changes the whole fight around. Quadra kill onto Pentakill.
I'm more competitive than everyone else.
Why is that?
Because I care more than everyone, and people don't like investing into themselves because they don't like proving themselves wrong.
What makes you say that?
Because it's easy not to try and fail, but it hurts when you try and fail. 100% it does.
Can you tell from experience?
Oh, for sure. I'm 0-6 in AoE, man. I got a lot of experience with that. Like, I don't know how many other people could just get slapped in the face trying their hardest continuously as I have, and then still look someone in the community in the eye and tell them, yeah, I'm better than you. And matter of fact, I'm better than you at this role too. And if you do get better than me at your main role, well, guess what? You're gonna have to get better than me at 2 other roles. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just like crazy, dude, or something. Like, maybe I'm just like, I just have an insane ego. For me, I just like to think like, I just love proving people wrong. Just love doing that. To beat everyone. Like, I have my goal where I want everyone to get better, yeah, of course, but I want to make sure I'm on top. Without a doubt.
You want to be leading the flagship?
Oh, for sure. I think it annoys people that I have been for a bit. It annoyed people back then, and I think it annoys people now. That's fine.
Literally what Andvari does will probably despise this. Oh! Tries to snipe him out doing his wolves and he lives. Oh, like 10 HP, bro.
Little brother syndrome. Little brother syndrome. Like, growing up, just trying to like play with my brother's friends, and it's like, yo, I'm good too. Let me play. Like, I want to see a stat of like how many little brothers are competitive. Like, that's the first thought when I think of like, why are you competitive? I was competitive because I wanted to beat my brother, and then eventually I did when it came to league, and then I was just like, okay, now let me beat these kids at Sunnyside. All right, I beat these kids at Sunnyside. All right, I'm pretty much done here. And then like, as I thought to myself that, oh, I'm done here, it's like, no, there's this guy who was Masters in Fresno. Oh snap, really? Yeah, he streams. Okay, looked up his streams. Wow, this guy's definitely better than me. And yeah, that's how I met Tom. That was pretty much Tom. That's how I found him. It was my sister's ex was like, yo, there's a guy better than you. And I just like looked him up. Just like, boom. Like, I remember playing with this guy. Well, I never played with him back then. It was actually my brother who played with him. He actually flamed my brother for building like a sapphire crystal on Nasus. And he like said it was like a terrible build. So that's the only thought I had of him. And I was terrified of this guy back then. So I was just like, yo, you in Fresno? I keep mad awkward on the stream like, you're from Fresno? Yeah. Do you want to play in a tournament? And he, or no, I think I like just memed with him saying like, yo, sapphire crystal, and like you flamed my brother, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, I knew, and then like I name dropped a couple people that I knew he knew, and he was just like, oh snap, who are you? And I was just like, oh, I'm Betty's brother. Like, oh snap, you're Betty's brother, and I was like, yeah. And then he did like a coaching session, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is why I suck at the game. I basically told him I suck at the game because like I have ego, I have trouble accepting stuff, because it was just all based off myself as a person rather than the game, and I think that's what made him take interest.
Get over the wall and the speed up, trying to not let him get the execute,
Oh.
and look at that damage just from one ability.
Knowing your role. Knowing your role and how many roles can you fit in is what determines how good of a player you are. I think that's an issue that a lot of people in AoE don't really understand. like the wall, the like stigma that we have against walls, right? Like that makes no sense. Like for me, it's like that's mandatory. Look at like every good team, right? Like let's talk about IG, right? The Shy, Ning, Rookie, Jackie Love, and then I believe it was like Busan, right? Forgot their support's name off the top of my head, but like we know the Shy likes his resources, right? How many times when people were talking about like the Shy popping off was Jackie Love mentioned? Not much, right? Like people mention him now because he just won LPL again. Like I don't know if people even watch LPL, but he just won LPL again with top esports. He knew his role, right? He knew that, hey, I'm gonna let my solo laners pop off, and I just gotta be playing the wall perfectly. Because there is a way to pop off as a wall. It's where you get no resources, and that one time they need you, you're ready. Step up to the plate. You know? So like I think knowing your role is like how to be a good player. Whether it's a wall, whether it's a carry, whether it's being a supportive teammate. Like I think these quote unquote walls need to be on a team. Like they need to be on a team, right? Like think about it. I'm name drop some people from the community, right? Like Mongace, right? You can be like, oh no mechanics, blah blah blah. I guarantee you, a team with 5 people with ego and that want to be a carry player will never work in AoE. We had Corn Dogs. Who's the supportive people on Corn Dogs? Safe to say that Paper Crusade and QST. Backed up, Lunatic, and Big Boss the Dawn. P4D was a guy who can do both. He likes being the carry sometimes, depending how he's feeling, right? Like, a team of like 5 walls, a team of 5 carries won't work. It's just knowing your, not place, but knowing your role on the team. Like, what do the Patriots say? Do your job, right? So, if I'm hearing a coach from an NFL team that has won that many championships saying just do your job, then that's all it takes to be a good player, man. Like, it doesn't take anything else. It doesn't take like, man, I need you to intercept every single ball. It's like, nah, just do your job. And then if this plan that I told you, if everyone does their job on that, then this is the result. It's just knowing your role. What else do I look up to? Michael Jordan sounds corny, but yeah, I mean the Last Dance documentary, that was great. Someone that I think people won't know that I look up to a lot, but would be pretty surprised, is Michael Bisping, which is a UFC fighter, and Dominic Cruz. Just seeing their stories. Like, not Dominic Cruz, sorry. Michael Bisping is like the emotional part where he essentially like slept in his car and still fought in the UFC. Like moved to America, was like, alright, I'm gonna sleep in my car and then like fight in the UFC. That's the goal. And then he made it to the UFC and was able to like start paying bills, brought his family over, his wife and his kids, and then he manages like, this man has fought for like 10 years and finally was able to get the UFC championship. Like that's just beautiful, right? Like to have that type of determination. Like how many people would just be like, alright, I'm not getting a championship for sure. And not even that, he got his title shot while he was acting in a movie. And it's like, alright, you got 2 weeks to lose like 20 pounds. And this isn't like he's a big dude. No, like he's a very fit man. And those 20 pounds seem very devastating and for sure makes an impact on your body. And then still won the championship despite that. Like I watch a lot of UFC and a lot of my idols come from UFC. Like I don't really idolize pro players. I can't think of like a single pro player I idolize. Maybe like Deft. But that's from when I was a kid and I was like, oh wow, pro players are amazing. And as I grew up, I just started idolizing like professional athletes. Like I'm not saying like esports players, I'm not trying to make that a conversation, but it's more of like, I think that these sports are so far ahead of how esports is being treated that I think that is how esports should be treated to get the best he can be, right? Dominic Cruz, he talked about like, he did a workout when he was an up-and-comer, where he basically practiced his footwork, right? And what is one thing he's completely known for is his amazing footwork, right? So he just went about it into detail on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he was just like, yeah, just did this one training thing, like this one little training routine, like 100 times, like multiple times, like hundreds of times, continuously for all his life. And you look at him fight, and it's like, I mean, you can see it. Like, no one can hit him. Like, despite all his injuries, he was still really good on his feet. And that's, like, amazing. Yeah. Like, 8th, 9th grade? Ninth grade, like, officially. Like, I played in my first HSL season, which is, like, this high school... It's called High School Star League. They're not around anymore. But essentially, it was, like, you can sign up a high school and face other high schools. And a team on there, I saw it on a Riot documentary, because the team who won it, like their first season, the tournament got sponsored by Riot. They gave like a bunch of RP points. It was like 10,000 each player. It was like an insane amount. And they basically gave like backstage passes to the team that won. So there's a video on it, and I was like, yo, I want to join this league. And so I did. And that was like my first experience playing competitively. I hope for just people getting opportunity, you know? If people can get an opportunity off this game, I've said it from the beginning since I first showed up here again. It's like, if people can get an opportunity like I had for being decent at this game and knowing that there's an opportunity like that, like that's all I hope for the community. Like, if someone makes it to the LCS one of these days, as crazy as it sounds, like, that'd be amazing. That'd be super cool. But at the very least, I want people to just get their education off this game. What drives me? First thing that came up to my head, in all honesty, is like insanity. Like, just doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Like, yeah, I'm very thick-headed. I think I'm very strong-headed. Sorry. I will just do something until it works. I'll figure out a way to make sure it works. That's what drives me. I'll just make sure that I will try harder than people to get what I want. Like right now, like as silly as it sounds, it's like winning AoE is like where my goal is at right now. Like besides solo queue climbing and stuff like that. Because in my head, I think about like if I can't even beat people in AoE, like what makes me think I can beat people like at an amateur league, you know? Or like in collegiate. So my first goal is definitely playing. And beating everyone in AoE. I'm 0-6, right? So it's pretty devastating. So like, what drives me despite losing? So we just saw like draft 2, right? Like I pulled out funnel once, everyone was mad. Everyone wanted me to lose because like I pulled out funnel. Like how could I, right? But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna make sure I work harder than them. What drives me? I guess insanity, dude. Because I just want to prove people wrong, and I just want to make sure I'm the best I can be. You know. Nothing in particular, really. There's not much emotionally besides that. Like, I want to prove people wrong, and if I don't feel like I'm good enough, I will play until I make sure I'm good enough, you know? And with me being competitive, like, I never feel like I'm good enough ever. And I don't think I ever should feel good enough. Favorite champion? Dude, I play like... that's too hard. I've been playing this game for way too long. Most emotional, sentimental, though, probably Rumble. Favorite champion currently? Probably Kane, as much as I hate to say it. Probably Kane. Favorite champion 2 years ago, Ezreal. And then Kog'Maw as well. Like, no, it's not trifecta, it's like four characters, so like, Rumble emotional-wise, Kane performance-wise, Ezreal aesthetically, like I just love the champion aesthetically, and Kog'Maw, that's a cute puppy. I don't care what anyone says, that's a puppy that one-shots people, and I love that character. No one has seen me play it, but I love that character, and if I get mid lane again this season, I'm playing him mid lane. AD carry. My favorite role definitely has to be AD carry. Oh man, like this is just gonna get technicalities on technicalities, man. But yeah, at the very core, AD carry, because that's the one role that you always have to play into, or there's always some type of carrying with that role. Like jungle at a very high level seems very sad and depressing. So this question is probably referring to people who like aren't good right now, but like can get good. A lot of people, man. I think a lot of people. Obviously, we saw Elfster just pop off like crazy. And he just got a new computer, so he might get really good out of nowhere, right? So probably like Elfster. I'm trying to think who else. There's so many names that are coming up to me. But to keep it blunt, Elfster and Glizzy God. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played any other game besides League of Legends in like actively in the past like 6 years. I'm trying to think, hold up. I played Fortnite for a bit, I played fighting games for a bit. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Grand Theft Auto? Oh yeah, I did play that game for. That is a fun game. That was a fun game. Like just getting obsessed with the storyline and everything. It's really cool. Yeah, storyline games are just way too addicting for me, so I refuse to play them because that takes me away from playing League. So I don't play them. I actually for the past. I'm looking at the date right now. For the past, I think 8 years, I have not played a single Skyrim. You know all that hype in Skyrim came out. I think it came out in 2013. I have still yet to play the game. Red Dead, haven't played that. There's so many games I have not played. Ooh, you know which game did make me feel the feels if we're not talking about League of Legends? Halo. Oh man, Halo Reach. There you go, that's what it was called. Halo Reach. The storyline for that game was beautiful. It made me cry. I was like in 7th grade. So Halo Reach, yeah. Stepping into coaching was pretty difficult. It's like I've never tried to put myself in a perspective of other people. I was just thought about myself. So it was like really interesting learning that. It's like, oh, this is how this person thinks, this is how this person thinks. As far as stepping into it, I was pretty simple because Tom coached me. So I was just able to do what he did for me for other people. And I was like, well, if it works, it works. And most of the time it did. Sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes like I couldn't get through to them. And that's what I struggled with a lot, right? Like if sometimes I'd be too mean, sometimes I'd be too nice. Like I couldn't find a balance with that. That's what I kind of struggled with. But it taught me a lot about like myself and not realizing like how one person can affect their teammates. Like I never thought about like how I affected my teammates. So it helped me out quite a bit. It also made me realize that I like playing more than coaching. 100%. Kill your ego. That's the one thing I would tell people. It would make you improve so fast if you just kill your ego. And just self-defense mechanisms and everything. You're just able to be comfortable with who you are and what your goal is and to do anything at that goal. It like I think about it quite a bit, and I just think about like if people can kill their ego quicker, because I wish I would have done that a lot quicker. Because like I said earlier, like I thought it was so good even though I was a gold player. So killing your ego is definitely where I would tell everyone to try doing. Like, yeah. My message to the community would probably be: try your hardest if you're gonna try, and if you're not gonna try, don't waste your time. That's my message to the community. Because at the end of the day, I love everyone being friends and everything, but I just want people to try their hardest. Don't discredit yourself, and don't do yourself a disservice by not trying. That's my message to the community. In life, in game, doesn't matter. Whatever they want to do. Someone says, I want to be a firefighter, be the best firefighter you can be, man. You know? Like, in anything, genuinely. My name is Alan Garolo Osorio, also known as El Oso.
Hey, just do it honestly.
Yes! Yes! I'm going to sleep, boys. Good night.
No.